My name is actually I provide trainings on ReactJS. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't get your name. Can you repeat your name?
Yeah, this is Mahi, M-A-H-I, Mahi.
Okay. So before I want to start, I just want to know what is your background, how far you good in front end or coding. So I just want to know what's your background in coding and all.
Okay, so yeah, basically, I'm not the candidate. I'm kind of, like one of the founder members of, the same company that Kishore has spoken to.
Okay.
But apart from that, currently, yeah, I'm again like on behalf, like profession wise, I'm software engineer. I do work on both front end and back end. So I do have idea about ReactJS and all that. So I just wanted to know, I mean, he also, Kishore has also shared me the course curriculum. And yeah, it looks good, but I just have like a couple of questions.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you can give me, like what sort of experience you have in terms of training, yeah, that would be great.
So I have overall close to 9 years of experience in development. I started my career as a .NET developer. Slowly I moved to front end. I worked initially with jQuery, then Angular, then React.js. So providing trainings is my, you can say like my secondary work that I do. Okay. I am providing this React training I think 2018 or 19. I'm doing this. With SSIT, I have started from last 3 months or so. So currently, I work for Accenture as an associate manager. So this is what my background.
Okay, gotcha. Yep, sounds good. So yeah, before we start, one quick question. So like how many versions of React.js did you work before? I mean, did you just work on the class-based components, or did you work on both class-based and the new, functional-based React.js as
well? I started with class basis only because I started my first React project in the year of 2018 or 17, I think in the mid of 17 or 18. After that, most of the applications are, right, we work as an offshore team. So most of the times we'll get a work that is already done. And we get a chance to mostly to do the debug and put a fixes on it. Okay. In 2021, I think, no, not in 21. In 20 only, I got some chance to work on hooks. Okay. I can work on hooks as well. I can say that like not that much of a full complete application. I never worked on hook. Okay. It is a combination of both.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So the coursework, right? So what do you exactly teach? Do you like, obviously you might be, you will be trying to create a project and then share that project with these folks, right? Like while you explain.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what kind of what kind of components you're trying to use for such things?
I can show you what I
mean. So yeah, let me put it this way. So what kind of version you will be using? The class-based components are in. The idea is, we want our folks to follow the latest, hooks-based components, so that they don't have to, like, they don't want, like, basically, the folks that we are trying to give training for are like, has like zero experience in terms of React.js experience. So we don't want to confuse them between class-based components and functional components and all that. So we just wanted to start everything from functional components so that while they learn, it would be easy for them.
See, it's your choice. But how I go with my training is like I write code in both the ways. Okay, I create few in functional components, create few in class components. Okay, in the initial phase, then I have created the things in purely class components. After that, I use Redux. Okay, then I'll connect the Redux with the backend services. If you see everything here, it's all comes from the backend services. Okay, and then I move to the Redux. Once the Redux is done, then I'll start with the hooks. Then I slowly convert all my class components into the functional components. Actually, that's how I do. So if you want me to start straight away with hooks, then that's also fine. Not an issue.
Okay.
So this
Yeah,
is
so the only thing is that, like in the recent times, most of the clients are looking for functional components. At least they are migrating to functional components. So the basic idea is, the candidates that we work with should have some knowledge on class components, but we want them more, like we want the focus to shift more onto the functional components rather than,
yeah, I understand.
spend
So,
time in
yeah,
class-based
I got
components.
it. See, actually, what the way I follow is so if you see this application, this is one student, some CRUD application. I do it here. So I
Yeah.
do it in the name of student.
Okay.
So I create most of the things in a class components only.
Okay.
Then in the parallelly, what I ask my candidates to do it is they will start working on the employee.
Okay.
Okay, so that it's not like they'll just listen to me and they'll leave it after the session is end. So whatever I do it here, they'll repeat the same on the employee form.
Okay.
So whatever I do it in a class, right?
Mhm.
I'll do it everything in a class way, right?
Okay.
Everything you see it is in a class components only I write.
Mm-hmm.
In between, I'll write some functional components as well. Okay. In between, you see some functional components, right?
Right.
So what I do it, I'll make it in a mixture, okay, so that they'll understand why class, why functional component, why they are doing it in this way. And while teaching Redux also, I'll make it like a pure Redux. I won't add any React on top of it in the first session itself. I'll write a code with the plain Redux.
Mm-hmm.
There won't be any forms, nothing. So that in the next day, if they wants to work, see, this is how I do. It's like a plain Redux I'll start.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, they need to understand what is a store, how to create the reducers, how to write an actions. Okay. So how to trigger them, how to subscribe to it, how to dispatch an actions. So I'll do it like this first. Once they
Okay.
are comfortable with the Redux, if they are able to understand everything, then I will apply that Redux to the class component.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we are mostly we'll focus on the class. So that's the reason why I'll explain them what is map state to props, what is map dispatch to props. Once they are comfortable with this one, then they will repeat the same thing now in the form of while using hooks they'll convert everything. Okay, so I said it with map state to props. Now it will be converted to use selector. Whatever we said with map dispatch to props, that is converted to use dispatch. So the
Mm-hmm.
work is same. Now instead of writing like that, now they're using the hook. So
Okay.
it's a mixture. So if straight away, if I say use selector is one, you need to use that, then it's like a blank hole, right? They'll come up to me and said how it is getting triggered. Where is that use selector? I can't show that use selector, right? So that's
Right.
the reason why I'll start with the map state to props and I'll tell like I'll try to put a debug and show them how code flows. Then I will convert it into a use selector and that will be easy for them to understand. That's
Okay.
how my way of teaching.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Anything else you want?
Yeah, like if you can go over like a simple demo, that would be great, so that I can discuss with my partner and like let you know maybe by tomorrow or by tonight.
No problem. See, basically, if you see, this is the latest one, I think 8:30 a.m. I think the previous month I have taken for one candidate. So this
Okay.
is what I taught her. Okay. So if you see in this basic structure as well, I'll go with very simple way of this is my basic thing what I'll teach them. Slowly I'll keep on increasing the things to them. Okay. So I'll first write something like counter application, like do an increment decrement kind of stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Then I'll teach them how to do some kind of life cycle methods. Okay. For each thing I'll create one component. Okay. For example, if you say if you want to learn about life cycle methods, I'll create one component and I'll teach them how life cycle methods work. Suppose if you're discussing about a state, how state and props work, I'll create one small component for it.
Okay.
So once it is done, okay, then basically we discuss what are the concepts that we have in React. Okay. Component, state, props, how to update the state, how to update the props, how can you update the parent state. All this stuff we'll first clear everything. Once the candidate is okay, he's understanding the things, and I'll have some questions on it. If they're able to answer my questions, then what I'll do it is I'll start writing one small application with all the things that we have discussed so far.
Okay.
Okay. At the same time, while going with this creating an application, at that time only we will see what are the best practices that you need to write.
Okay.
So in that way only we have created some utility.js files, right? So when you have something which you are repeating again and again,
right,
so you need to extract them and keep it in separate files. So those are like code standards and all that we will discuss. And at the same time, I will also give them the questions that what they will face during the interview while they're attending an interview, what kind of questions they can expect from the interviewer. So that also I keep on discussing. So for example, if you're discussing about a state, so then and there I will tell them, okay, if you are attending an interview, you will face a question like this dot set state. So what is the this dot set states will do? So actually you haven't, in this component you don't have the set state method, but still you are using the this dot set state. So where is the set state is coming from? Okay. So one option is you are passing an object here. What are the other options that you have to pass as a set state method? Okay. So once the small application we build, so first of all we are using only this local state. Okay. So once this application is done, which is everything is in local, you have a local state and you do it, then what I do it is slowly I'll convert this local application to connect to the database. I mean connect to your API, gets the data from the API, read the data from the API and all. For that I'll create some mock APIs I'll do. Okay. So I'll teach them, like if you someone asks you to create an application, okay, which is a real time, right? So you don't need to wait until the services are up for you. Okay. So you create some mock APIs. Okay. So for example, I'll create them first name, last name, email and ID. This is one fake API I'll create for them, and I'll teach them how it works. Okay. Then I'll give two options for them. Either they can use fetch or Axios. Okay. And at that time we will discuss what are the benefits that Axios will get, what benefit the fetch will get. Okay. What are the drawbacks that you have? Okay. That we will discuss. Once this is done, then we'll go with the Redux. So for Redux, we will go with, as I said earlier, we won't include Redux right away to the React application. So before adding, we will learn how Redux work, what Redux is. So we'll learn Redux in such a way, if tomorrow if they ask to work on some Angular application and they wants to add Redux to it, so at that time as well, I want the candidate to be made sure to work on the Redux. Okay. So for the Redux, we'll discuss things like the plain Redux we'll teach. At the same time, we'll go with advanced Redux, like how to write middlewares, how to write a custom middlewares. Okay. Then how to debug this Redux. Okay. By using Redux dev tools. Okay. So once my candidate is comfortable with Redux, okay, so I will ask them to create their own reducers, combining the reducers, okay, triggering their actions. So here, if you see, there won't be any UI. So here it will be all JavaScript functions only. with the functions, you need to be comfortable with Redux. Once they are said like, okay, we are comfortable with Redux, how it is working, then slowly I'll keep on adding piece by piece to the application that they have created so far. Okay, so then I'll slowly introduce them to the writing a store, then how to write an actions. Okay, then how to write the reducers. Once reducers are done, then I'll give them the best way to write the selectors. Okay, once these are done, okay, I'll use all these things in a class based component. Once they're comfortable and they understand, okay, this is how the Redux works, and I'm comfortable with debugging the code, okay, then I will ask them to change the class components to the functional way.
Okay, so one question. So what is selector, by the way? Sorry, I'm not actively working on it, so just curious.
Okay, selectors are like a function. Okay, what they do is they will suppose let's say like you have a map state to props method. Okay, so you will connect to the store and you will get the data every time.
Right.
Okay, for example, when you're suppose you take this method only. Okay, you want from your state you want to take the students. Okay, then this component is getting updated every time it go to the store and it gets the students. Okay, first time it is okay, second time, so why should I go and get the students again, right? I already have a student, right? So you don't need to call it again and again. So selectors are like memorized functions which will keep you don't need to go to the state and get back it again. So it's like a memory kind of function which they will remember. The second time you go and ask, it will get the student immediately. They won't go and query on the state again and again.
Okay, can you show me like how to use it? Like,
see, this is like a normal selector. Okay, so you pass a state and it will return it. Okay, you have third party npm modules are also you can include on it. Okay, which will they'll do like a memorize.
Okay, so right now this doesn't
right now,
do any memorized things, right?
No, it won't do. See, that's what I won't do everything on my machine. Okay, I'll ask the candidate to work on it.
Okay,
if I do, they will just listen and they'll leave it.
Okay,
I'll ask them to do it on their machines.
No, so my question is, so these are right now a plain function that returns, state.student based on whatever argument is sent. But in general, this is not it. There is a lot to do with the selector, correct?
Not a lot. I just need to add one more import there. That's it.
Okay, sure. That makes sense.
Actually, the selectors are like memorized functions. Like the way they use memo work, React.memo work, it also works in the same way.
Okay.
So like memorized functions. You don't need to go to the state every time and query on it and get it back the what you want.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's the one.
Okay, so I'm good with the React side of the thing. So what do you discuss in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, like in general, like mainly like JavaScript, like how do you start it? Because the candidates that we have might have worked on different technologies and they might have no clue about what JavaScript and all that is. So to get the knowledge of React, they should definitely have some JavaScript knowledge, right? So what do you cover in your JavaScript courses?
So in my JavaScript JavaScript part, first of all, I won't start straight away with the React. Okay. Based on the candidate experience, okay, I'll first start with JavaScript only. Okay, I'll first teach them how to declare a variable, how to write a functions, create objects, and then how many ways that you can create objects in JavaScript.
Okay.
So these items are I feel that are enough for a candidate to work on React. So the leftover things like how operator works, how if loop work, do while, for loop. These things, if I teach, then so my course it already takes, I think, 25 to 24 sessions it will take. So if I keep adding this for loop, while loop, do while loop, it goes on increases. So I'll ask them to verify to understand themselves how it works. So once these items they are comfortable, then I'll start with ES6. Okay. So the ES6 topics like imports, modular way of doing, arrow functions, writing a classes. These things I will teach them while learning the React itself.
Okay.
Okay. I can't teach them a simple import export function, right? So I'll teach them parallelly with the React. Suppose when I'm working with app.js file, at that time itself, I'll start with, oh, okay, why this import came. So before import, how they used to do, right? Now we are using an import. Before import, what they used to do. So like that, I'll keep on increasing step by step.
Yeah, so if I'm understanding correctly, so there'll be like very basic introduction of JavaScript, but now kind of data structures and how logic works and all that, correct?
No, those things are not included.
Okay, and how about like HTML and CSS? Do you touch base on those concepts as well, or?
No, HTML and CSS are not included in my course right now. Okay, I never teach HTML and CSS to any candidate that I got till today.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking is, I just want to make sure
I understand.
We stay under, prerequisites so that I can ask my candidates to go over all this stuff.
Yeah, I understand. But HTML and CSS, if I include, then it takes very long time.
Okay. But
maybe you may understand that, like, if I start
I get
the CSS and all.
Yeah.
It's very long.
Yeah, but do you, do you add the CSS for the project that you may create? I mean, not the basics, but generally, you have added all the layout and colors.
Added, right? Yeah. So this I'll teach them how to get a color to a button and all.
Okay.
But parallelly, what I do is I'll teach them how to include external CSS. For example, some projects will use Material UI, or some projects they'll use Bootstrap for CSS libraries they use, right? So I'll teach them how to include that CSS libraries, how to refer them. So for example, if you take this table, okay, this table we got from the Bootstrap, okay. So I'll teach them, for example, they are using a Bootstrap version 5, okay. I'll teach them, like, if your application is using Bootstrap 5, so these are the options you have. You go to the table, go to the table component, then you can understand the UI.
Okay.
Then you are copying blindly, it's wrong. So you take it and you need to understand why it is happening like this, how the grid is working. Okay. So if you want to change these columns, how to adjust the columns and all. See, now I have copied these columns. Okay. But in real time, if you are copying, then they must be understand how it is working, right? So it's not like straight away copy paste work. So that thing I'll teach.
Okay.
More than that.
Okay. Can you? Yeah. So far so good. Can you also include kind of reusable input fields or reusable buttons, because that I think in the recent times that has become a standard where most of the companies doesn't use the input fields as is, but they import them from somewhere or from their own library and then use them based on like reusable
I understand. I understand that they call it as an ant design, that what the nowadays the people are following. So it's like they create it like atoms, molecules. That's what they say. The low level one, they call it as atoms, and they keep creating all like text boxes, buttons, radio buttons, like a common element they'll create, and they start reusing them. That way also I can teach. That's not a problem.
Okay. Yeah, if you can teach them that way, that would be, I mean, not directly, but at some point, if you can include those, that would be really great, because in the recent times, like whatever I've seen or whatever.
Yeah, nowadays everyone are following the same structure because they want to. End of the day, it's like a business, right? They'll create for one application and they say like nowadays if the what the application I have seen in my previous organization, I worked for Wells Fargo. So what we used to do it is we'll create these ant designs, okay, for project A, and we'll say like to the other projects, we'll say like, boss, we have this design which is very useful. We'll sell that to the other project, and we'll give an option for them. See, right now it's like a blue color, right? So for the other application, they won't be a blue color. They wanted something like orange color.
Right.
So the button will be open, and we'll give them an option to add a color, what font they wants to do, right? Even I worked in that architecture as well. Yeah,
Okay.
that I can add.
Okay. Yeah. Please add that to your curriculum so that I can pass feedback to Kishore, and then he will talk with like whoever he talked before. I don't know his name. Sorry, but then after, and do you have any like what are your preferred timings?
I will be available from 5:30 a.m. of Indian IST to 8 a.m. of Indian IST. Then 8 to 9, I already having one session. After 9, again I'll be available till 10:30.
Okay.
So I basically from 5:30 in my morning to 10:30 in my morning I will be available. Except that 8 to 9 slot, I have one candidate who is currently in progress.
Okay. So, like, do you also have any slots in the evening times, like evening IST, so that it would be morning in our time zones?
Evening IST.
Like any time if you're available, because now we get some candidates who will be not available during the evening hours in our time zones, which is again like mornings in Indian Standard Time, whereas they'll be mostly available.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just thinking my current work. I'm just calculating what work I'll get in future. Currently, I have some research time, but the thing is like they may add some more load on me. I'm just thinking about it. Anything after 7:30, not before 7:30. After 7:30, it is fine.
Okay.
7:30 p.m.
7:30 to
7:30 to 9:30 till 9:30. It's okay.
Okay. So 7:30 to 9. Okay.
Any time in between.
Yeah, but your most preferred time is during morning hours, correct?
During morning hours, yeah.
Okay. So I'll take a note of it. So I'll try to arrange something in the mornings, like in ST mornings. But if that's not possible on our side, then I'll try to squeeze someone between that 7:30 to 9:30 time.
No problem. This slot is also okay, but like I need to manage my meetings in the
right.
Close them early. That's the only thing. Otherwise, it's fine.
Okay, cool.
So I'll take only 5 days in a week. Okay.
Yeah, only the weekdays, right?
Yeah, weekdays. So weekends, then I need some time. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Even we need like someone who just does that for 5 days. Not even we want to give a break for our students as well, because we would again have to follow up with them and all that. So we definitely need those 2 to 3 days break.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I think I'm good for now. So I think you'll be hearing from us shortly, Prithvi.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice to meet you and great talking to you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.